It's another lovely day, but it's surprisingly and deceptively breezy. That breeze is coming from the east. So I've come somewhere sheltered today. I'm going to have a walk in Holborn Hill Plantation before they chop it down, which I thought was going to happen over winter, but apparently it seems that it hasn't. Anyway, I've parked down there and I'm headed that way. This is a bit of beautiful deciduous woodland, although on the left of screen there are some remnants of pine plantations that are still in place. There's two rides in front of you. There's the tarmacked track just on the left of screen, but on the right of screen there's two well worn and well motorbike ridden tracks. That goes now into those lime trees, which then become sycamore and beech. It's a lovely beech plantation. But before you enter those trees, there used to be a beautiful grass drive. That used to be the haunt and realm of racehorses at one time. In fact, there was a dirt track down one little side of it. However, for some reason it's been left to become overgrown and the brambles taken over and the scrub is developing. It's a shame, because it was a lovely walk and there used to be masses of bluebells in there. Maybe one day it'll get cleared again, but it's a beautiful bit of woodland locally. It's one of my favourite spots. It's just a shame that at some time the beech trees that we're going to walk in are coming down. And this is that grass ride, or former grass ride. Hardly a blade of grass to be seen now, but there are still some remnants of its former glory in the form of bluebells, just tucked in at the base of the lime trees on the right hand side of this broad grassy ride. And so unfortunately now it's impassable. I think that at some time this probably held glowworms. In fact, I know glowworms were very close to here. It's just a shame that this grassy ride has become out of bounds and impassable. In the meantime, we're going to head off into the trees on the right. Hopefully it's still going to be quite sheltered from the breeze in there. We shall see. But that's a lovely view. I do love this view, looking up this avenue of lime trees. Now here's a lovely woodland flower. Appears in early spring, just a little bit after wood anemone starts to appear and flower. This is wood sorrel. It's a beautifully delicate and dainty little flower. 5 petals and those darker purple veins leading into the centre of the flower. It's a beautiful thing. The leaves are quite clover-like, with 3 leaves on top of each stem. And you'll see this very much in this situation, just poking through last year's leaf litter. But it's a beautiful woodland plant. There's the nuthatch calls above. Here's one of the better and larger areas of bluebells here in Holborn Hill Plantation. Most of the trees that you can see, certainly the ones with all the sucker-like growths, are all limes. The trees with no sucker-like growth are sycamores just here. Further up, it's predominantly beech. But these are a beautiful dark blue. These bluebells seem slightly darker blue than the ones at Lown Wood. Although I suppose some of that could be dependent on the light. Nevertheless, a carpet of bluebell such as this is a sight to behold. Beautiful. Well, here's quite a surprise for me, because I didn't think the beech trees, which are the trees in leaf further in the distance there, would be out in as much leaf as they are, but most of them are really coming out. So prepare yourself for a number of backlit foliage shots. I do love beech. Beech is a cracking tree, and its foliage, when freshly unfolded, is a joy. Just like silver birch, beech is a glorious tree, and I do like beech woodland. The woodland floor and the leaf litter is full of new growth. Now that the temperature's warmed up, seeds laid down at the end of 2021 are starting to come through, and here we have two species, two very different and easy to identify seedling trees. This one is the characteristic seedling of beech. The first two leaves that appear on any seedling are called cotyledons. They are the first leaves. The true leaves are the next lot that start to appear. But beech is characteristic by the cotyledons being this shape. The new growth tip is right in the centre there. The seedling next to it, with these two long narrow cotyledons, is sycamore. These are probably some of the most commonest seedlings that you'll see. And you'll see sycamore germinating anywhere where it can get a foothold. But the two are very different. Sycamore here has already got its first set of true leaves coming through, whereas beech is still just at the cotyledon stage, although they would have germinated pretty much at the same time. Two easy species, two common trees, two very distinctive seedlings. Beech here and sycamore there. Success. If they all stay here, three things I can show you on here. Now, the first thing we have on this tree, if it stays here, is this tiny little moth. This is Phalaenoptera mystingella, one of two species that feed on beech. The other one is Phalaenoptera mystingella. Both are small. If I put my grubby forefinger at the side of this, you'll see that this is a small moth. Measures about 5 mm from head to wingtip. Although small, most Phalaenopteras are beautifully marked and coloured. I'll drop a photo in here just so you can appreciate what does look a great deal to the naked eye. There's a connection between this species and the next species that I'm going to show you. And that connection is this. This is the Holborn Platybunus pinetorum. Pinetorum likes Phalaenopteras, and last year at this very site I was witness to Platybunus pinetorum feasting, if you could feast on a Phalaenoptera as being as small as they are. It's nice to know that Platymunus pinetorum is still here. This is the first one I've found here this year, and this is the site, of course, where pinetorum was first found new to Nottinghamshire in 2020. It's a cracking harvestman, beautiful thing. And of course in Nottinghamshire still only females are known, as they are throughout all of the UK, with the exception being a site in Yorkshire. I think it's Holmfirth, if I remember right, where males have been recorded, or a male has been recorded. I keep looking amongst the number of pinetorum that I've found so far in Nottinghamshire. There's no males yet. I've just found this little beauty just tucked away at the base of this same beech. This is Couchus rufimitrella, very similar but smaller to another moth along these lines, one of the longhorn moths, because the male has huge long antenna, which is Adela remarella. Now Adela remarella is more common than this species, and you'll find Adela remarella in swarms flying around the tops of hawthorn bushes or the lower branches of trees. Couchus rufimitrella is much more discreet, so you'll often find it nectaring at woodland flowers along woodland rides. Often find it on the flowers of garlic mustard, or jack by the hedge as we used to call it. Also occasionally at red campion, but it's a smaller and a daintier moth. Adela remarella is a bit more robust than this. So under the same tree we currently have two species of moths. Always looks beautiful foliage that's backlit by the sun and a blue sky. When that foliage is pristine, just emerging, just unfurling from the buds, beautiful. And that's a lovely scene up through there. Lime trees on the left and mostly beech on the right here. Interestingly, all the limes, every tree really, is at the same stage of leaf burst, whereas these beeches are very different. They're almost at two stages. Some, the canopy is almost completely out, whereas others, the buds are just bursting. It's becoming increasingly breezy, and the trees keep dropping things on my head. Still, as long as they land on my head, I'll be alright. This part of Holborn Hill Plantation is quite exposed to the winds coming in from the west. You're now facing northwest. Consequently, with beech leaf being dry once they come off the tree, they do take a lot of wetting beech leaves. Beech litter's nearly always dry, but all the leaves get blown from the western side or western edge of Holborn Hill Plantation and end up over right of screen, whereas there's no leaf litter on the ground over there. It can be 2 feet deep to the right. And here's that former grass strip that's attracting a number of butterflies, but it always did, because it's nice and sheltered here. There's hardly any breeze, and we've got several green veined whites. The male orange tip has flown down through there, I think there's another male orange tip knocking around, but while I've been stood here, I've seen brimstone, peacock and small tortoiseshell. Unfortunately, it's no longer passable, and to think that this was once a lovely grass strip but is now just a sea of bramble, it's such a shame. It was a lovely walk, but with patches of bluebells on both sides. There's a few on the right hand side from where I'm sat now. It was a grand walk, and obviously it was specifically planted. I think it was one of the Duke of Portland's follies was to create walks like this, lined by an avenue of limes. Just be so nice if it was cut back and the grass could come through again, but it's not been cut for well over a decade or more. It's a shame. And here's another Sarkidae larval case. I think I've showed you this before last year, but this is the larval case of the cycad moth Taliporia tubulosa. It's a unique case in terms of Nottinghamshire Sarkidae. There's no other species that this can be misidentified as being. The cases are about 1 inch long, cigar shaped, and these fresh cases, which are just starting to appear on the trunks of trees now, all have varying sized insect fragments around the neck of the case. The larva lives for a year in the leaf litter and the ground layer, but each second half of April and the first week of May, the larvae ascend the trees and attach themselves to the trunk of the tree and pupate. In a couple of weeks, these will hatch out and emerge as moths. It's widespread here. Holborn Hill Plantation certainly has the best population of these anywhere in Nottinghamshire, but it is found quite widely, but usually in odd cases. And they do prefer smooth trunked trees, without a doubt. They do have a penchant for beech woodland, where you've just got dry litter. In the nearby Sherwood Forest Country Park, these are rare. Very unusual to find a case of these. But here, it's common. Our second Sarkidae of the day. I've just found this caterpillar, and it's just climbing the trunk of this beech. And it's a looper caterpillar. I think it's the caterpillar of light emerald. If it starts to move again, it'll do that looping action like that. That's how you can tell it's a Geometridae or looper caterpillar. Now, it may well have been blown off this beech through the breezy conditions we have, so it will be coming home with me, and we'll rear it through just to confirm that it is light emerald, unless it's something else. You never know, but it's fun to rear, and it saves me taking this home, or save this caterpillar a hell of a lot of work to go up this tree. It's got about another 15 metres to go. We'll be here all day till it moves out of shot. One more push. Sorted.